Hey, it's Brandon Zero, and I'm gonna do a review of Legacy of Kain Defiance. It's a pretty old game, so humor me if you don't know what it is. Okay, Legacy of Kain is the story of a vampire named Kain and a vampire named Raziel, or Raziel, something. Anyways, when you're playing this, the gameplay is pretty good. It's not integrated, so it does have loading times. It has really good graphics for the time that it was made.
Given the choice, whether to
Here's the
rule
intro.
a corrupt and failing empire, or to challenge the fates for another throw, a better throw against one's destiny. What was a king to do?
That's Raziel. Kain ripped his wings off. Threw him into the pit of souls. Lake of the Damned, something like that. He became the Soul Reaver for the Elder God. Pursued Kain through time. Kain kicked his butt. Escaped. Raziel chased him.
But does one ever truly have a choice? One can only match, move by move, the machinations of fate, and thus defy the tyrannous stars.
Okay, so that's the intro. You start off as Kain in the Seraphan stronghold. The Seraphan is a cult of vampire slayers that believe that the vampires
So
are the plague of the
returned
world.
to the sanctuary of my enemy, the fortress of the Sarafan Brotherhood, deemed impossible for any man to penetrate.
And he's not a man.
Impossible for any man. Deep within these walls my prey awaited. Mobius, the time streamer, deceiver
Mobius
and
is
eternal gamester, using living beings.
He's the serpent. I'm not gonna give much of the story away. Anyways, I skipped the cutscene, but that's okay because that's not what you're here for. Okay, I give this game 5 out of 5 stars. One of the best absolute game series I've ever played in my life. My favorite, I've gotta say. The game series goes as follows: Blood Omen, Soul Reaver, Blood Omen 2, Soul Reaver 2, Legacy of Kain Defiance. This game series is the most tangled web of lies and deceit and awesome storyline you'll ever play in your life. You have telekinetic powers, you have an awesome weapon, you get to kill the crap out of people, you get to eat their blood and crap like that. The storyline makes you feel smart. It's just awesome. You get to de-throat people with your Reaver. The game is 5 out of 5 stars for me because it has a good battle system, but the storyline is really what you want to see. The storyline, it's really hard to understand. You may have to go to the dictionary a lot to understand what some of the words mean, but it's a very complicated story. You go back and forth through time and dimensions and all sorts of things. My experience started with Soul Reaver, the original, back when I was probably maybe 11, something like that. Anyways, then I went on to Soul Reaver 2, and it was pretty compelling gameplay. Let's skip the cinematics. But basically, you feed off of their enemies. Okay. Anyways, the story is centered around the Reaver, which is this weapon that you see in his hand here. Let me see if I can get a close-up on that. Okay, so it's about that sword, the Reaver, that's in his hand. Anyhow, the Reaver is a sword from the Seraphan, but it was split into the Soul Reaver, which Raziel has, and the Blood Reaver, which is what Cain has. There is believed to be some type of destiny, and there is something called the Wheel of Fate, which all souls are bound to the cycle of death, life, death, and rebirth. And Raziel, which is the Soul Reaver, he's the only one that's free from the circle, and he's the only one that has free will from his destiny, and so it's up to him to choose how the fate of Nosgoth, which is the world that you're in, happens. And the story is really, really compelling. I've got to say, there have been times when I'm bored, I'll just turn this game on and watch all the cinematics from start to finish. There's plot twists and turns, and it's an incredible story. I've got to say, out of any of the games I've ever played, this has got to be the most interesting story. So if you have to choose between any of the games that I've done a review over, buy this one. Just buy it. Don't think about it, buy it. It's really cheap. It's $9 I think now. It's an older game, but the graphics are incredible. The battle system is easy to use, yet still challenging enough to where you're not gonna be bored. You have telekinetic powers. Awesome. The boss fights aren't too plentiful, yet they're not lacking. So it's enough. It's really fun. Lots and lots of puzzles in this game. If you don't want to have a good 13 hours of gameplay, don't buy this. Easy to get lost when you go to the forges to give the blade new powers. Great game, great game. Not too long if you've beaten it before. So 5 out of 5 stars. Not that expensive. Great storyline. It's a good game. I'd recommend, if you're going to skip any of the series, I'd recommend getting Soul Reaver 2, which I'll have a review soon if I don't already of that game, and then possibly if I decide to buy Blood Omen, I'll do one over that. Anyways, so 5 out of 5 stars, great game. Go and buy it.